Välkomna hit till Erik Bank och den här intervjun med Louise Gomes som är vd på AAC Clyde Space. Ett accessbolag här på Erik Bank. Och de är verksamma inom småsatellitmarknaden. De har nyligen gjort en nymission och aviserat 2 förvärv som stärker dem både teknologiskt och även geografiskt. Och nu har vi som sagt Louise Gomes, vd här, som ska berätta mer om det här. Welcome, Louise Gomes, CEO of AAC Clyde Space.
Thank you.
This has been a very intense autumn for your company with a lot happening. Most recently, 2 acquisitions with which not only enlarges the company but also giving you a more diversified geographical reach, which we will get back into. But would you please start by talking a little bit about the acquisitions in turn and explaining how they fit in with AAC Clyde Space and what the future prospects are for these companies as a part of AAC Clyde Space.
Yes, so we have been looking, and we had said these many times before that we were looking for some acquisitions that brought value to the company. So we are not looking for a company just to grow the company for the sake of growing the company. We are looking for companies that actually bring value, that help us in achieving our objectives and our strategy. So in the case of Hyperion, very much we looked at the technology that the company brings in and the product lines, as well as some geographical growth within the European Union. But largely we were looking at the kind of equipment, the kind of products that Hyperion has developed over the years. They have a very solid reputation, very solid business in the components and subsystems side. And also some of the technologies they have been working on, particularly around laser communications. Something that I see as a rather key thing for the future of space technology, and particularly when we are looking at what's going to happen in terms of Earth observation, but also more data-intensive applications from space. The use of lasers for communication actually makes a huge difference and allows us to grow what we can do with satellites immensely. So those are the areas that we were particularly interested in on Hyperion. When it comes to Space Quest, we're very much looking at is the geographical location. We have long had the desire to actually have an operation running in the US. It is the world's largest space market. And as such, we wanted to be present there with a strong presence, with quite a lot of heritage and a lot of market presence. And Space Quest does that. And of course, they also have quite a thriving space as a service business, something that we are working on. And so that actually makes a lot of sense for us to actually acquire a company with such a strong space as a service offering. So there are different reasons for the companies, but ultimately what both of them bring to us as AAC Clyde Space is a capability that we didn't have, geographical expansion, and general improvement of our ability to provide services and products to our customers.
How do you see? How does the customer base in the US look like for Space Quest? In terms of large customers, smaller customers, and also in terms of public and private and so on?
So they operate very much they supply many subsystems and components for a variety of customers, private, public. They work very much with universities, with commercial companies, but also with government organizations. So that is a market that they already operate quite a lot in. They've been operating and they've been selling satellites for commercial organizations, and they've also worked on some missions with government organizations. But right now, their space as a service business is driven very much by commercial organizations. Now, those commercial organizations ultimately sell also to government, but it's driven very much by private companies.
These two companies, when do you expect to finalize these acquisitions, and when should we expect to see them in the numbers for AAC Clyde?
So we expect, in the case of Iberian, we expect at the beginning of November to finalize that acquisition. In the case of Space Quest, we will have to wait for an outcome of some of the regulatory procedures. So particularly with CFIUS, so the Committee on Foreign Investment. So we have to actually go through a series of procedures before we can actually complete that acquisition. So we expect more towards the end of November, December. That's our target, but of course, it might be a bit later.
Okay, but basically we should expect to see Space Quest in AAC Clyde Space for next year, basically, the whole year.
Yes, well, we should have both of those companies already, hopefully, and that's what we are working towards, to actually have them fully acquired this year. And then next year, yes, there will be operating companies under the AAC Clyde Space.
Yes. Also, in conjunction with this, you have also issued new shares recently and strengthened your balance sheet considerably. How do you plan to make use of these new funds?
So some of it we'll use to develop some of the equipment that we are doing under the Scottish Enterprise grant. So we, as you might remember, we received a substantial grant from the Scottish government earlier this year. So we will actually use that money and some of this money on this raise. We will actually use to accelerate some of the work that we're already doing on that grant. So we actually want to do things a bit quicker. Others will be to continue to develop some of our business. We have a few other developments that we are doing right now in terms of improving our technology, improving our ability to actually deliver our products. So we are using that money to achieve that. Mostly we are accelerating. This will help us, and this will allow us to accelerate many of these developments and make better use of those grants that we have. Also on grants that we have in Sweden for the development of VBS. So it will help us to accelerate that and to actually do that work a bit quicker than we were originally planning to. So that's a good thing.
When looking for the full year, obviously we're nearing the end of 2020, a very turbulent year in many aspects. And you have also commented publicly on what you see as net sales expectations for the full year. How do you see that now? And I guess this would be excluding the acquisitions if they were to be consolidated before the new year.
So we maintain our forecast in terms of end-of-year revenues. So we believe that we are still on course to. We are still on course to actually meet our forecast that we announced of 100 million SEK. Of course, with the new companies coming on board, that will change those numbers. We'll increase them, but for the time being, we are still seeing that as an achievable target for ourselves.
Yes. Very interesting about the acquisitions. Both of them have quite healthy operating margins also, as you reported in conjunction with the announcement of the acquisitions. This will of course come in nicely into AAC Clyde Space when we look at next year and so on. So if we assume that these companies are part of the group going into next year, how do you see possible profitability for 2021 for the combined group?
I'm not. I would say it will increase. It will increase. So we will actually do better. We maintain our target, as we said, of having a positive EBITDA in 2022. But of course, with this acquisition, we will. Our aim is to actually achieve it in 2021. So we believe that actually can improve our bottom line quite substantially. And so we will be working for that. But with current COVID, of course, we don't know exactly where we will be in a year's time. We are still there is still some uncertainty, but we believe that we can actually achieve that still next year after these acquisitions.
Yes. How do you see the effects regarding COVID? How have they played out during the sort of last few months regarding suppliers and the possibility to meet with the customers and different aspects of it? How have you experienced that?
So COVID continues to be quite restrictive. So it continues to actually, particularly when it comes to the last point you made, I think meeting customers, it's very difficult to actually meet people face to face. We haven't been able to actually meet many of our customers face to face for a while, and that slows down some of the long-term prospects and slows down some of the commercial aspects, the sales aspects. This said, I would say that after 3 months, around Q2, where we saw issues with suppliers and issues with production, we have recovered largely. Of course, we still have some effects. There were some delays at the time that actually continue to run through the organization and through the business, but largely we have actually solved those problems. I would say that now things are much calmer and are actually working much better. Let's see what the impact is of these last few weeks throughout Europe with a few issues. But largely, I would say that now we are back to normal when it comes to production and when it comes to operations. As I say, the one thing that we are missing is the ability to go and see our customers and to talk to them face to face. That was something we used to do quite a lot in terms of conferences and exhibitions, and we haven't been able to do that now for 9 months. So we hope that we can go back to do that soon.
Yes. Do you see going into sort of next year and the years after that, you are consolidating the market to an extent now with these acquisitions and getting a firmer grip on the sort of global marketplace. Do you see any possibilities of further acquisitions in the years to come?
We are always open. We are always open, as I said, to companies that actually add value to what we are doing, and overall to our desire to be the world's best small satellite company. So we continue to actually look for companies that actually bring something to our mix that we don't have right now.
Do you have any examples of when you look at that total mix, where it would fit in most?
There are several possibilities. So we are still looking for certain technical capabilities. There are certain areas that we would like to improve and we would like to grow within the company, namely around some of the payload work that we do. We would like to actually improve some of that. There are other applications specifically on space as a service that we would also like to consider bringing in-house at some point to improve our offering to the market. So we'll continue to look. We don't have a specific target at this stage. We now have done these 2 acquisitions. We've got objectives and strategic objectives in our plan, and if some company comes along that actually helps us fulfill those objectives, then we will actually be interested. But right now, I would say that we are fairly well covered when it comes to our technology that we need right now. But if we look forward, yes, there are a few companies out there that would be of interest to us.
Regarding different segments on the customer side, where do you see the largest growth currently and expected for next year? Or do you see a vast sort of differences in mix, and how does the marketplace look like?
Continues to be a mix of sectors. So we see strong growth on many of the Earth observation, weather forecasting side of the business. There is quite a lot of interest growing right now. This doesn't mean that the telecommunications and the machine-to-machine communications, Internet of Things, have gone away by any means, or they are reducing. Quite the opposite. They still grow. That market is growing. But it's a market that is already a bit better defined. So we already have companies that have gone through their initial demonstration phase. They are now into their business, into their operational phase. In the case of Earth observation, observation, you are seeing still many companies that are in that phase of developing their capabilities, they're developing their technology. So there is a certain drive right now on those companies to actually acquire satellites, buy services. So we see growth in that area. And in general, I would say that probably what we see quite a lot is growth in the turnkey missions, but also on space as a service. So we see quite a lot of space as a service requests. We have several people coming to us and asking us for that right now. So that is probably where we see the strongest growth.
Right. The next sort of schedule around the numbers from your on November 26th, the Q3 report. We look forward to seeing the progress on the second half of the year here, and wish you the best of luck. Do you have any closing comments that you would like us to focus on viewing this to a big extent new company? I mean, with this 2 new acquisitions and a stronger balance sheet, it's
I would just say that what we are building is a company that can actually fulfill our strategic objective of becoming the world's best small satellite company. So what we are doing is building that capability. We are building not only the geography to do that, but also the technical ability that will allow us to serve our customers better in the future, and we can actually deliver the services they want. We are here to change the economics of space-based services, and that's what we are doing. And so we are actually pushing for that, and these acquisitions, and the new company that we are forming is built around that, with that objective.
Okay. Thank you very much, Luis Gomez.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you very much.